ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरु वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सागणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशतादिशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। नमो ब्राह्मण देवाय गो ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगद्हिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय ते नमः। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्रिषे नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नमः। जय दास ठाकुर की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। वेलकम एवरीवन। हरे
हरे
कृष्णा।
कृष्णा माताजी।
हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा माताजी।
हरे कृष्णा। संतोष प्रभु your son. Hare Krishna. What's your name?
Everyone bless me, Mataji and Prabhuji.
Yes. Okay. Anything special? Birthday? Is your birthday today?
Yes.
Oh, Hari Bol. Okay, we all chant for him Hare Krishna once.
Yes, Mataji.
Can all unmute and bless him. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare. Happy
God
Krishna
bless you.
conscious birthday, beta. God bless
Happy
you.
Krishna conscious
Thank you.
birthday to you.
Thank you, every Mataji and Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna. I welcome everyone once again. So today we are at chapter 9, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga, the most confidential knowledge. All glories to Sri Sri Radha Govinda. Take their blessings and Srila Prabhupada blessings. So chapter 8, what did we see? So Krishna, there were a couple of questions asked by Arjuna, and then Krishna answers them all, right? And then like what is Kshetra, what is Kshetrajna, and how to remember Krishna at the time of death, right? So Krishna says that it is only possible by practicing throughout the life. And then the pure devotional service. So actually, Krishna explains about how to leave this body at different times. And then finally, he says that the pure devotion or Ananya Bhakti is the highest. Na? How a pure devotee it doesn't matter when does he leave the body, whether it is a day or night, he will reach the supreme planet. Says that uh, Vedeshu Yagneshu Tapassu Chaiva Vedeshu Yagneshu Tapassu Chaiva Daneshu Yat Punya Palam Pratishtam Atyeti Tattarvam Sarvamidam Viditva Yogi Param Sthanam Upaiti Chadyam. So he says that by studying of Vedas, performing sacrifice, undergoing austerities, and giving charity, whatever pious result may come, may be obtained, one can surpass all of them by knowing me and my glories, and performing devotional service such a devotee attains the supreme eternal abode. So in this Krishna, in the chapter 9, so it will continue. Krishna will explain more about his glories and also how to become that pure devotee, right? The synopsis of chapter 9. So in chapter 8, we saw that Krishna explained that an Ananya, unalloyed devotee surpasses the path of light and darkness. Now Krishna will explain how to become such a devotee. So supremacy of bhakti. Chapter 8 concludes that bhakti is the best form of yoga. So chapter 9 supplies specific knowledge required for performing most confidential yoga. So there is a similarity between the chapter 7 and chapter 9, we see, because there are many similarities, like where Krishna speaks about like it starts with hearing, touch trunu. No, here also the chapter 9 also starts with the hearing about qualifications and disqualification of disqualification of a devotee. I mean, what are the qualification one should have? So these are basic qualification. So once a person advance in Krishna consciousness, then what are the qualities of a devotee? That is being explained in detail in chapter 12, where Krishna explains from chapter, I think it is from 15 to 20 shlokas. So around 5-6 shlokas, he explains like what are the qualities. But here the basic qualification one need to have possess, that is hearing. Krishna mentions here, and the same thing even the chapter 7 start with touch trunu. Krishna says there, no, Maya sakta mano ye mam, no, Maya sakta manaf partha yogam yunjan madashrayah asamshayam mat asaktam mam yatagnyasasi touch trunu asamshayam samagram mam yatagnyasasi touch trunu. So hear from me. So hearing has been given. Same thing even in chapter 9 we see. Krishna speaks about the hearing, importance of hearing. And then again, we saw the energies. Krishna speaks about different energies in chapter 7. And here also we see that Krishna speaks about the different energies and Achinkya Beda Beda Tattva, the relationship with the Lord. How is he, how he has his relationship in the material world. And then we see even the demigod worship we saw in the chapter 7. So same thing here also we see the continuation. So this is in more depth. So just like in chapter 3 and chapter 5 we see a similarity of karma yoga, same thing, but then in deep Krishna explains in chapter 5. So similarly here we see in more depth and non-worshippers and worshippers. So Krishna is the supreme object of worship and the glories of direct worshipping Krishna. So Devata worship versus impersonalist, and these things we saw even in the chapter 7, right? So the glories, so these are the contents of today's chapter. So the sections, if we have to see, there are 5 sections. So 9.1 to 9.3, hearing about Krishna, qualifications and disqualification. 9.4 to 9.10, Aishwarya Gnana, Krishna's Achintya Beda Abheda, relationship with the material world. And section C, non-worshippers and worshippers. Section D, Krishna is the supreme object of worship. And section E is the glories of directly worshipping the Lord. So we'll go to section A. So non-enviousness allows one to hear confidential knowledge about Krishna, and faithlessness forces one to birth and death. So this is the conclusion of the section A, that is first 2. So hearing and having faith. So these are considered to be the criteria or the qualification of a devotee. To understand or to realize the knowledge of Krishna and to the Bhagavad Gita. Shri Bhagavanuvacha idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyamyanasuyave jnana vijnana sahitam yajgnatva mokshase shubhat. The Supreme Lord said, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart you this most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. So here, 3 things Krishna is mentioning. Krishna addresses Arjuna as non-envious. You are never envious. Anasuyave. Anasuyave means you are never envious of me. So this is also the reason why Krishna is telling this. Whenever if we have to share something secret, we don't tell to someone outside person, right? It will be only to your closed ones. So we share to the family member or someone. So similarly, Krishna is choosing Arjuna to tell the secret message, and this is not realized, or this can be realized only because there are many philosophers who can read Bhagavad Gita many times, but unless they are pure devotee or understanding in the line how Arjuna understood with the same humility and submission, like surrender to Krishna, they will never be able to understand Bhagavad Gita, right? So Krishna says here, and that anasuyave, you are never envious of me. And the other thing he says, that this is most secret wisdom. Guhya tamam. This is the most secret. And then what will happen? What is the benefit? You'll be relieved of the miseries of material existence. So what are the miseries of material existence? Miseries of material existence. What are the miseries?
Hare Krishna Mataji, are they Bhautik, are they Daivik?
Yeah, they are also miseries, Adi Bhautik, and also they are called as secondary miseries.
Birth, death, age, old age.
Yes. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. No? So that is the primary miseries, and Adi Bhautika Klesha, that Adhyatmika Klesha, one's misery which is caused by one's own body and mind. Adi Daivika Klesha, caused by the demigods in the form of famine or volcanic eruption, or like tsunami or these things. Okay. And then comes Adi Bhautika Klesha, which is caused by other living entities. So these are the miseries of, there is no other misery apart from this in material existence. So actually in Bhagavad Gita, if we see, everything can be classified as Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. So here we can see in the first where Krishna is saying, why is he saying Sambandha? Because he is a pure devotee and he is a non-envious. Even in chapter 4, he says that Bhaktosi me sakacheti. You are my devotee and my dear friend. That is why I am giving this knowledge to you. No? So same thing here also, it is like because of that relationship Krishna is sharing. And how to establish that relationship? By hearing. He says that you hear from me this knowledge. So that is imparting of the secret wisdom. That is by knowing. And then what is the use? Prayojana. That is the third. So that is free from miseries of material existence. So this is said most confidential knowledge. So then what is confidential? So confidential, we saw that we are not body, we are spirit soul. This we understood in chapter 2 in detail, and also in the chapter 3, right? We understood how then the person being knowing, having the knowledge that he is soul, how he has to engage himself in the karma yoga, right? How he has to engage his body and useful for liberation. So then what is a more confidential thing? In the chapter 7 and 8, we saw that knowledge which brings about enlightenment about Krishna, the Supreme Lord and his energies. So different energies of the Lord, how can we see Krishna in different energies? So, and also Krishna says there that both the material energies and the spiritual energy both comes from Krishna. So the material energies are the 5 material elements and the subtle mind, intelligence, and false ego. All these 8 energies belong to material energy. And then there is a spiritual energy where Krishna says that living entities belong to this spiritual energy. So this knowledge, knowing that we are part and parcel of the Lord, so then what happens? One has to engage in devotional service. So that is the most confident which we are seeing in this chapter. So this is also said as Guhya, Guhyatara, and Guhyatamam. Guhya means confidential. Guhyatara means more confidential. Guhyatamam means most confidential. So as you all know, it is said that the the first 6 chapters are karma. The middle 6 chapters, from chapter 7 to chapter 12, it is said to be the most the important and the sweetest part of the Bhagavad Gita. No, just like Krishna has kept like the important one in the middle, very protected. So this so basically this 9th and 10th chapter, it is said that it is coming in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita, right? Exactly in the middle. There are 18 chapters, it's 9th. So it's very important in that. So Lord Krishna imparts this confidential knowledge and realization to Arjuna. So what is the qualification to receive? So one has to be free from enviousness. So anyone knows what is the definition of envy? Enviousness or envy. What is the definition? You can either put in chat or you can unmute. Yes, Digant Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, if you put both jealousy and envy, I would say
Yeah.
jealousy is something harmful and envy is not harmful to the other person.
But both are same, right? Is there a difference between jealousy?
Yes, it's the
and
same,
envy?
but like if let's say if a friend of mine possesses something, maybe a iPhone or something, I'll be jealous that he's owning an iPhone. But let's say both of us we are in the same class, and sometimes he comes first and I come second. So I'll envy him that he came first. So that's, I mean, in good health it's envy, and in bad health it's jealousy.
Okay.
That's what I learned when I first saw the Onida TV ad when I was a child. No, owner's envy. Oh, sorry, neighbor's
Yeah,
envy,
yeah.
owner's pride.
Owner's pride. Yeah. So yeah. So actually, what I have heard from Prema Kishori Mataji, like what her spiritual master says. So envy is something like I like the thing that you have, but I don't like the fact that you have it. Means I like that what somebody else is having, but I don't like that he is having or she is having, because it was actually supposed to be with me, not him or her, right? So that is the enviousness. So Krishna says here, because he was not envious at all. No, he was ready to give up everything, Arjuna. though they all were atatayinaha, we see that they were aggressors. I mean, 6 kind of aggressors we see in as per Vedas, where actually they can be killed. They have done so much cheating. I mean, they have, uh, but then still he wanted to forgive them, and he wanted to leave the war, and out of compassion for them, he didn't wanted to kill them. So he gives so many reasons, right, in chapter 1. So here he is not at all envious. So that is a qualification that a devotee, as a devotee, he has. And then, what is this? Yeah. So what is the means to receive? So only through hearing. So that is why hearing has been given very much importance, right? So we always stress that, like, if we have to know uh, always we have to know from a right source, and also which is coming from a bona fide sampradaya. Otherwise, what will happen? It is very dangerous for us. It will, I mean, it will give a wrong understanding of everything. Then we cannot achieve the final goal. So what are the benefits? Relief from miseries of material existence. So basically, Prabhupada also speaks about the enviousness. So a person who is envious, very envious, Prabhupada says that he would be born as a snake in the next life. Prabhupada says the snake is the most envious animal, and because unnecessarily it bites someone without any reason. So that is the envious nature of a person, right? So we should never be envious, and Krishna does not like it. And because it is like Krishna has given somebody that, because Krishna says, Matta Smriti Gnanam Apohanam Cha. From me comes the knowledge, right? Gnanam. So that means we are indirectly, we are being envious to the Lord. So which Krishna will never like that. If we have to be happy whatever we have, and right. So and also even Chanakya Pandit says that if the enviousness when someone has, then it is just like he compares the senses, right? Sorry, this is not a no, that's not a right example for this. Yeah. So actually we saw like the demons like Hiranyakashipu or Hiranyaksha. So what will happen to the person who is envious, and what would be their destination, right? So even NND Prabhu says that we, I mean, the types of people, how do they react, right? When a person is in a sattvic mode, if somebody agitate him, he just ignore. And then when a kshatriya, he cannot take insult, right? He will react, like we saw how Dhruv Maharaj, he got very angry and upset, and I mean, he fight. But then when a Shudra, then he will go mad. He cannot take it. I mean, so he will, so similarly, it is because his senses are not controlled. Yeah. So here I wanted to add, like Chanukya Pandita also mentioned, right, that the uncontrolled senses he compares to the venomous snake. Living in a house of a venomous snake, that means death is certain. So if we are living in a house where there is a venomous snake, anytime it can come and bite us. So if we are, our senses are also, if it is not in control, then it is said that it is very harmful for us, right? And this in the 3 types of devotees, the Kanishta, Madhyama, and the Uttama Adhikari. The Madhyama Adhikari, we see that he avoids the envious people. Yeah. So let me see if anything after. Yes, and Prabhupada says that if we are envious and selfish people, one cannot understand this, understand either Krishna or the knowledge of devotional service. So how do we become purified? So see, many times we mention this in classes because this is very important. So through the 9 process of devotional services. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So any of the one of the services, if we take also, we can become perfect. And we see that Krishna is specifying here about the hearing or the Shravanam. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitramidamuttamam Pratyakshavagam Dharmyam Susukam Kartumavyayam. This knowledge is king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is perfection of religion, it is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. So this is called as Raja Vidya, the king of all knowledges. So in material world, we see so-called so many knowledge, because Prabhupada says that is not knowledge actually. Whatever we learn in this, whatever knowledge we gain in the material world, it's all just art. I mean, anything for living, we need something, right? That knowledge alone we get it. But only in Bhagavad Gita we get this, the Raja Vidya, the king of knowledge. Nobody talks about soul, super soul in the material world. No one has the knowledge. Even scientists don't have that knowledge, right? So there are different, because it is said it is the essence of all doctrines and philosophies explained before. So this is from the purport. So we know that there are different philosophies given by different philosophers like Gautama, Patanjali, right? And Kannada, Gemini, like that. And Vyasadeva, actually Vyasadeva defeated all the philosophers' philosophies, and he established the Vedanta Sutra. And so that is the final one which Vyasadeva did, right? So this Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all those, the Puranas. I mean, even in Shankaracharya also, in his Gita Upadesha, no? He says that Gita Mahatmya, that the Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads and the Puranas. Raja Guhyam, most confidential knowledge. This talks about the eternal activities of the soul and thus give positive information. Because everybody are disturbed and because everyone are attached to the bodily conception of life. So, but then when we know that I'm not this soul, so obviously then that kind of frustration won't be there. It actually gives us a positive feeling. So, purifying potency of devotional service is very one second. Yeah, so it speaks about pavitramidam uttamam. So this devotional service is said to be the purest form of all activities. Pavitram, so pavitram implies all the 4 stages can be purified. So basically in the 7.28, so where is Krishna speaks about the duality. I mean, one has to come out of the duality, right? So we know the atheistic or the sinful people. So there are the people who are very sinful and or someone is atheistic or foolish and deceitful. So see, these people also get purified. No? He says that when they come in the association, right? When they all come in the association of devotees, they also and follow the regulative principles, they can also transcend the duality of this duality of desire and hate. Esham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam, he says that, right? So why is this duality is there? This duality is because of the sinful activities one engaged in many lives, right? So many lives we have taken in previous many births. So because of that, there is a forgetfulness of the Lord and there is a ignorance, which is making us to commit mistakes, which is forcing us to engage in sinful activities. So Krishna says, no, why is in chapter 6 that why is person engaging in sinful activity as though impelled by force? What did Krishna say answer to that? Anyone remembers? Do you remember Krishna asking question to Arjuna that why is a person engaging in sinful activities as it by force? What was the reason? What was the answer given by the Lord? What is the reason for a person? Don't remember. So he says that Kamayesha, Krodayesha, Rajo Guna Samudbhavaha, Mahashano, Mahapapma, Vidyenimiha, Vairinam. So Kamayesha, Krodayesha. That is because of desire and attachment. Krodha, anger. No? So just because of the desire, everything happens. We see in the chapter 2, like Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Bijayate. So everything happens with the contemplation. And then the person Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pajayate gets attachment. Sangat Sanjayate Kama. Because of the attachment, he develops desire. Kama. Kamat Krodho Bijayate. Because of that, he gets anger. Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha. Because of he becomes illusioned. Sammohat Smriti Vibrama. So there is a loss of memory. Smriti Bramshat Buddhinasho. There is a loss of intelligence. And then Buddhinashat Pranashati. Finally, a person falls down. So all this is happening because of the ignorance and the Kama and Krodha. So these two are even said to be the lust, anger, and greed. These three things is said to be the gate of hell. No, so Krishna says so. So a person because of that. So here we see the sinful reaction. So he gets into the sin, and there's a forgetfulness of the Lord. And the sinful reactions has 4 stages. So just like we sow a seed, so it takes, immediately it will not become tree, right? So it goes through, it has to go through the budding stage, and then there is a flower, and then comes a fruit. So right, so same way not the tree, yeah. So similarly, there are some sins which we have, which immediately we get the result, right? But then some sins which are like we have done in the Purva Janma, right? So that one Krishna will give us like a prarabdha we get. So prarabdha karma means like we see some children by birth, if they are blind or having some other problems. So these are all from previous life, because what has the child done in this life, right? So though we don't remember, so we are awarded like that based on our karma. So here we can see this is called the stages of reaction. So there is avidya. So because of ignorance, there is a sinful desire in the mind. So when there is a sinful desire, so person engages in the sinful activities. So then what happens after he engages in the sinful activities? There is that account, that all the bad credits going into our account, the sinful, the unmanifested reaction, that is aprarabdha. Means the person is doing like immediately a thief, right? When he robs something, he's not caught. He's enjoying with that money, whatever he has done. He's enjoying for some time. But then what will happen? He enjoys for certain amount of time after he's caught, until police catch hold of him. So when police catch hold of him, then that is a prarabdha, which is manifested, right? So then there is suffering. So here what will happen in this stage, when it is not manifested, he will still go and rob more. No, he will get confident that I am not caught. He will start doing more sinful activity. So the same, that is called as kutak. So that disposition that is there in mind. So now also sometimes what may happen, like some person is taking to the devotional service, he may not engage in any sinful activities, but then there could be a kutam. Kutam means the tendency may be there to do, because that is from many lives it is there. But then to purify that, we have to but chanting or the hearing about the Lord can purify, because Krishna is purest of the pure. So this is the cycle. So what happens then again, when the Kutam is there, he is sowing a new seed. So this is a cycle, right? So we have to come out of it. So, and Prabhupada says ignorance. So one cannot say that like a child is if it is ignorant, and then if it puts its finger in fire, obviously it will burn. So we cannot say I was not aware, or I cannot say I'm ignorant. So Krishna can forgive or God can forgive. So we are going to have the reaction, right? Whatever. So we have to be very careful. But then again, Krishna says, whoever surrendered unto Krishna, Krishna takes away all sinful reaction. Sarva dharmam paritijya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Don't worry, Krishna says that. So it is uttamam, implies beyond tamas, material activities, and purifying potency of devotional service is very strong. So further glorification of the most confidential knowledge, how to get direct perception of the self. So Prabhupada says that we all have that in dormant, in dormant mode, it is there. Like everyone, by nature, the soul is pure. It's only covered because of the lust. And in chapter 3, we say how the lust is being covered by for different living entities. Can someone tell me, for humans, what is the comparison given there?
Like the dust on the mirror, Mataji.
Yeah, dust on the mirror is for animals.
The smoke,
Yeah.
fire,
Yes.
smoke.
Smoke, yeah. Fire, smoke covered, no, fire covered by smoke. And then for animal life, sorry, and what is the other one? The plant life, what is it?
Placenta.
Yeah. So the embryo in the womb. So that has different lust, different stages of lust. Even in people also we can see some are very ignorant. It's very difficult. They will never come to Krishna consciousness. And some, it is a little bit, you take them, give prasad or take to temple, they will develop that devotional. So that they become purified soon. So it is already there in the dormant mode, because when the forgetfulness is there now, but when we come in the association of devotees, so like a little bit of grass, if you put on smoke, immediately it will catch on fire. So similarly, the by practicing devotional service, so we can see the result. It is not something that it's only given in books. So whatever is in Bhagavad Gita, one can really perceive when he adapts in his life. So that's called direct perception of self, pratyaksha. So many we know that there are many examples how the people like they have changed. So can you give me examples from Shastras, like who used to be very cruel or something, and how they changed after devotional service? Anyone, if you can name?
Valmiki.
Yes, Valmiki. Good.
Mrigari.
Mrigari, yes, Mrigari, very nice. So Mrigari, he used to cut the animals half, no? He was like very cruel. He was killing, and but when he come in association with the great devotee Narada Muni, and he left, and then he became pure devotee, right? So, and we see, and later when he became a pure devotee after chanting, he didn't want to even stamp on the ant also, right? So we see what. So here, the example of direct perception, by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra without offense, one feels transcendental pleasure and gets purified quickly. Also, if one further helps in the mission, one makes spiritual progress. So Prabhupada says that along with chanting, if we are able to do some service, right, through our mind, body, or words, anything, if we are able to do something for the Lord, then Krishna will surely bless. And also because if we satisfied spiritual master, and Krishna will be satisfied. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado Yasya prasadat na gatihi kutopi. If we are not able to please a spiritual master, then we will not get Krishna also. So qualification advancement is irrespective of previous education or qualification. So it does not need that person should have certain education or anything, right? There we have examples of even the small children like Prahlad Maharaj. He was such a small child, but how great devotee he became of the Lord. So and there are the devotees, and also we have acharyas like the spiritual master of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Gaur Kishore Babji Maharaj. So he was not literate. He didn't know how to write also, right? But then he was so knowledgeable, right? And he was a big scholar. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, who was spiritual master of Prabhupada, he was a big scholar. And at the age of 7, he knew all the whole Mahabharata, and he had learned all the Sanskrit, Vedas, and everything. But whatever question he asked his guru, he was able to answer. So how did that come? So that is because of he has realized that knowledge, and that is coming from bhakti. He was completely dedicated. He was always chanting, and when he used to feel like he used to be keeping away himself from the normal material world, because only he was the only one disciple he made in his life, that was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. That too, after many time, he was begging him to make his, because his father told him, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada's father told Bhakti Vinod Thakur that you have to take his shelter, otherwise, I mean, I will not. I mean, he told that you have to only accept him as your teacher. So after that, finally he observes him and he sees his dedication, and he finally takes him as a disciple. And he used to go into the public toilet and chant, because sometimes people will come and take for blessings. They will come. He was not liking. So he used to go there and he used to chant. Just imagine. So much he was involved in the chanting, and very simple life he led, right? Very with all so much austerity life he performed in his life. Yeah. So dharmyam, pratyakshaavagamam dharmyam, susukam kartum avyayam. So dharmyam means perfection of religion. So Bhagavatam explains the perfection of religion, that the Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. So knowing the Lord, right? So coming to devotional service, that is what Bhagavatam explains, that is the perfection of religion. Whatever we read, Shastras, everything, finally, if we are not understanding that about the Lord and surrendering into Him, or taking into devotional service, then it is not the real Dharma. So it is Dharma means perfection of religion, and Susukam, it is blissful. So it is joyfully performed. So devotional service has to be joyfully performed. So Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness means eat, chant, and dance. Huh? So it's so easily performed. And then avyayam, it's ever lasting, everlasting. Because this does not end devotional service that just with this life, material life, no? Because it will, even after because it goes along with the soul, and it continues in next life. Ashraddadana purushaha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. Those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of foes, but return to birth and death in this material world. So these are the two qualifications. No, the qualification one is that you should be ready to hear, and a non-enviousness, and the other one is one has to be very faithful to only they can receive the knowledge. If we have no faith in words of Krishna, Krishna says that you have to come back in this material world again and again. We have to take the birth, And the faith differs from, like, there are three type of devotees. One is Kanishta Adhikari, one is Madhyama Adhikari, and one is Uttama Adhikari. So Kanishta Adhikari's faith is very low. He does not because anybody can change his faith. If he's having some faith and somebody else says something, then his faith will change, right? Because he don't know proper knowledge of scripture, he don't have, and that faith in the Lord is not there. It can be easily shaken. But Madhyamadhikari's faith is strong in the Lord and in the scriptures, but he is not that well versed in the, he may not be able to defeat the opposite party every time, but he himself is properly situated. But Uttamadhikari, is faith is also strong and he is rightly situated. So yeah, we can. So faith is the most important factor for progress in Krishna consciousness. See, so what is that faith? That simply by serving Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. So this faith we need to develop. That just by watering the root, all the leaves, branches, everything get like satisfied, right? So there's no need to worship or take different sacrifice or austerity or doing the worships of different devatas or anything. Only if we worship the Lord Sri Krishna, then everything else is satisfied. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So it says, Yata taror mula nishechanena tripyanti yat skanda bhujopashakaha pranapahararcha yatendriyanam tripyanti sarvanam arha. The last line I'm not getting. So basically, what does it say? Yatha taror mula nishechan. Huh? Yes, Prabhu. You know the last line?
Tataiva sarva
sarvaharanam achyutechya. Achyutechya, na? Tataiva sarvaharanam achyutechya. So yeah, so he says there that yata taror mula nishechanena. When we water the root of the tree, trupyanti yat skanda bhujopashakaha. So how the skanda, the branches, the twigs, leaves, everything gets satisfied. So they all get nourished when we plant. So when we put the root, water the root of the plant, everything get nourished. And also how when we fill the etendriyanam, so when we fill our stomach, all the limbs get strength. So similarly, when we worship the Supreme Lord, everyone gets satisfied. Not only the demigods, whole world gets satisfied. Even if you remember one pastime where once Durvas Muni comes, this Duryodhana sends Durvas Muni to the Pandavas because he know Duryodhana that he's first of all very angry person. He give curse very easily. So he wanted them to get more curse, and he sends them to Pandavas. And he goes there when that was in the late evening. They had a Akshaya Patra, they had, right? But everything was over. They didn't have anything left. They usually after sunset, they wash that and keep it. So that time they come and Yudhishthira Maharaj received him, and he was very worried what to do. And he sends, okay, you go and take path. And he sends him, and meantime, Draupadi was praying to Lord Krishna. And then Lord Krishna comes there. And then what happens? Krishna asks for the bowl. And then he sees there only one rice was there, one morsel of the rice, right? So what he does, he eats. Krishna eats, and then they were having bath. He had come with lot of his disciples, many disciples, Durvas Muni. Everybody, their stomach were got full. They were right. And then what did they do? So they started to feel, oh, what will we do? Like if we go to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and also Krishna sends Bhima, you go and ask them to come. So Bhima goes there, and then they all say, no, we are full. They don't say that. They start. He says, ask his disciples, you run away from here. Otherwise, we'll have big problem, because he already had experience of how he in Amrish Maharaj case, right? How he got cursed. I mean, how Sudarshana Chakra came running behind him. So he was afraid. So he said, no, no, we are full, right? Because the devotee, he is devotee, he would have made many dishes, and what if we don't eat, we will get cursed, he thought. So similarly, so when Krishna was stomach full, everybody else got full. So when a living entity can also be satisfied, why not the, I mean, all are living entities only, like they are part and parcels. Everyone are part and parcel of the Lord. So that faith we need to develop. So how is faith? How faith is created? So by the association of devotees, our faith becomes strong. Now it is called Komala Shraddha, means very not much faith. But then in the association of devotees, and we need to have regular association, and that is why we have this Bhakti Vriksha. I know that many of you are not joining. I don't know what is the reason. Are joining. Some are joining somewhere else, I think. But somewhere you need to have the association. If not here, somewhere, but you should have devotee association. No good faith and knowledge of scripture easily fall down through engaged in devotional service. Cannot achieve highest perfection stage coming to Krishna conscious with hidden motives. Yes, some people come with some hidden motives, right? And some people join temple, just they are very lazy to work, right? They get 3 time food, or some different motives, or for some, and when once that is done, or they may not have temporary job or something, or they may join temple and then again they leave when that is fulfilled. So that is very lowest. So that is third level of devotees. So firm faith but not very advanced in devotional scripture, simply trying to follow by association and simplicity. So this is Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari is the highest. Firm faith is there, and he is well versed in devotional scriptures, and there is no chance of fall down. Section B, 9.4 to 10. Aishwarya Gnana, Krishna's Achintya Beda Abeda relationship with the material world. Krishna pervades, create and annihilate the entire cosmos through his material energy. Although Krishna is supreme director, the material world nevertheless moves independently, and Krishna thus remains neutral and detached. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavastitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So, what is this called as? What is this called as?
Universal form.
Yeah, but what is this? Which the potency of the Lord said to be, like to be and not be in that. Maya.
Chintya Veda.
Yeah, Achintya Beda Beda. No? So simultaneously one and different. So Krishna, it is so only. So this can be understood only through Shastras and by the mercy of the Lord only. So here Krishna is speaking about the super soul, how the as a Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu is pervading everywhere. So in the Vishwarupa, right, we are able to see all the demigods and everything is there in one place. We see that in the chapter 11, right? But Prabhupada says that that is not the real form of the Lord. We cannot, it's also like impersonal form of the Lord. But then there Arjuna asked, like, I want to know how we have come into this cosmic universe. And then Krishna shows the universal form, which was all pervading, right? Because everywhere it's like hand, faces, everything he was able to see. Sarvataf pani padam tat sarvatokshi shiromukam. So everywhere the faces, everywhere the hands, legs of the, so that is the all pervaded Krishna. And And he says that, and yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, still myself is the source of the creation. So Krishna here he is speaking that he is the source of creation. So he is talking about that Bhagavan. So Krishna is the source of all creation. So Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Krishna is the manifestations. He's the source of everything. So everything. And then as a mighty wind blowing everywhere, always rest in ethereal space. Know that in the same manner, all beings rest in me. So Prabhupada gives that example of analogy, just like in the sky, the air is said to be the biggest manifestation. So that will, the sky is always aloof from the wind, but then so it stays in the sky itself. It doesn't come. It cannot go beyond the sky. It's rest on the sky. So similarly, it is given. Krishna himself gives this, right? As the mighty wind blowing where always rest in the ethereal space. So similarly, everyone, so Krishna is the one who creates and he maintains, and then when everything get annihilates, so by all everything happens by Krishna's will and his energies. So everybody rest in him. We see that, like everyone go into the mode of slumber, the living entities, until they are born again. So Brahma's day, and in chapter 8 we saw that. Living entities do not rest upon Krishna. Everything that is created does not rest in me. Implies although everything rests in him, still he is aloof and not directly concerned with maintenance. So there Prabhupada gives an example of the High Court judge. So the judge gives different punishment to different people, right? But then he is not affected. The judge is not affected by that, though he is giving somebody he may give, he may declare that he has to be given money, or somebody may put to hang, or the life sentence. So different punishment he may give, but he is aloof. So similarly, Krishna is also like that, not like Pick Atlas, who is tired of holding low. So we see that picture, right? That the person who is holding Atlas, he is like very tired, but it is said, Prabhupada says that Krishna is never tired. Like very easily he lifted the Govardhan hill. No, it was so huge. I mean, the 26-kilometer width and breadth. It was so big, large, and then he holded that for almost 7 days and 7 nights. And not only that, all the planets he is holding in place, and this complete universe. So Krishna is never tired. So it is Yoga Ishwaram, inconceivable mystic opulences of Lord. So Krishna is full in 6 opulences, right? So what are the 6 opulences of the Lord?
All fame, all beauty,
Hmm.
creation,
All beauty,
all wealth,
yeah,
all
all wealth, all renunciation,
yeah,
Knowledge.
all knowledge, yeah, all riches, all knowledge. So these are the
Yes.
Aishwaram. So Krishna is his opulences is, I mean, we can this Krishna in, I think, in chapter 10, in the next chapter he will explain about some of the opulences which we are able to understand in our little brain, right? So not everything he explains, because after explaining all the opulence, he says that I'm just giving it is just a small, I mean, there are what is there to know? This is just a spark like. Krishna says that I'm just giving you to understand. We cannot understand because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says that this our material universe is just like a small sesame seed in a bucket full of in a bucket, and there is a full of sesame seed which are so many universes which is coming out when the Lord Mahavishnu breathe. So we are nothing. So this is the Yoga Aishwaram of the Lord. O son of Kunti, at the end of millennium, all material manifestation enter into my nature, and the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. The whole cosmic order is under me. By my will, it is manifested again and again, and by my will, it is annihilated at the end. O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached, seated as though neutral. Udasina, it is said. So Krishna also says that I am no karma. I mean, name karmani limpanti, because he though he created this world, he does not belong. He remained detached. He says all this work cannot bind me. I am detached. So Lord Krishna's relationship with creation and destruction, material world, inferior energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sorry, not that one. So here we have to see here discussion on Lord Krishna's relationship with creation and destruction. So how Krishna's creation refutes the modern concept of elevation. So Krishna says there that from everything is come from me, stays, and then get after at time of annihilate, it goes within Krishna, right? But what is modern concept is saying? So we hear about Darwin's theory, like the man has come from monkey, but and also there's a Big Bang theory which says that from explosion the creation happened. So Prabhupada says that it's impossible. Here we see here, everything has come from the Lord. Why can't we accept it as it is? Why do we have to speculate, which is not there? So Krishna says all species of life are created immediately along the universe at the beginning of creation and not one after another, based on desires and past deeds of living entities. So at a time, all the 84 lakh species have come. It's not like one after the other. Everything has come, and it is mentioned in the Padma Purana, right? And how the material world is maintained if Krishna is aloof. Krishna's supreme will is always present. So there are many prayers in Brahma Samhita. You can check it out, where Lord Brahma says the prayers of Lord Shiva, Lord Lakshmi, and goddesses Lakshmi, right? So how they are praying, and Lord Ganesh. So everyone says, and even he says that even the sun also is how is it working, functioning based on Krishna's will. It is said everyone are afraid of the Lord. That is why everything is happening properly in this material world. It's Krishna's will. Everything is definitely under the supreme will of Lord, because he enters as Sri Vishnu forms into Mahatattva to create. So even the material world is nothing. Because of Krishna glancing on the Mahatattva, the living entities come into existence. So that is why Krishna says, Aham Bija Pradapita. He is the seed giving father. So but Krishna does not directly involve, there's no direct involvement. He himself does not create or destroys, but it is done through material nature. So material nature acts by Lord's desire. Maya Adhyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. So my direction, Maya Adhyakshena, so by my direction, Suyate Sacharacharam. So this material nature, Mayadhyakshena Prakriti, Suyate Sacharacharam, Hetu Nanena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. So by my direction only, this material nature is, I mean, doing everything by Krishna's instructions. So, but though Krishna is not directly involved in the creation, he expands himself now to Mahavishnu and then only. What is the basis of creation? Creation takes place to accommodate inclinations or the desire of the various living entities. So Krishna, based on our need, our desires, we are getting the different births. So whatever our consciousness is, so in chapter 14 it is said, if a person is developed, if at the time of dying he is in a mode of goodness, he can go to higher planets of great sages like that, or even to the planet of Brahma. But then if a person is dying, if he is in a mode of passion at the time of death, so he will be born again in this material world, that is the earth. And if a person is dying in a tamoguna, then what will happen? He will be born in a lower species of life, that is in animal life. Mudha yonishu jayate, means he will be born in a very abominable species of life. So all this is happening because of the desire, the guna that a person has developed. Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam hetunanena gaunteya jagat viparivartate. Okay. The material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Yes, the material nature is doing, everything is done by Krishna's instruction. So whatever happening in the material world, it is by the material nature. Krishna is like a supreme director, but he is managing through the material nature, Mayadhyakshena. And same thing is, that is material, that means even the material nature is not independent of itself, just like living entities also not independent. We have a free will, but we are not completely dependent. I mean independent. So even she takes care of this material world, maintains it based on Krishna's instructions. So, and Prabhupada gives an example of the flower. The flower, when the flower has a fragrance, and the fragrance is smelled by a person, but they are not the smell is not attached to the flower, right? So it is what is that? Something Prabhupada had given there. I'm not getting exactly what it is. He had given a flower analogy, no? Yeah.
When there is a fragrant
The
flower,
smelling and the flower is detached. He says that, yeah, you can read, Prabhu.
yeah, this example is given in the Smriti. When there is a fragrant flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person. Yet the smelling and the flower are detached from one another. There is a similar connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, he has nothing to do with this material world, but he creates by his glance and ordains. In summary, material nature, without the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, cannot do anything. Yet the Supreme Personality is detached from all material activities. Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Mataji.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, so this is nothing to do with Krishna. Whatever is the living entities are all like based on one's own desire and the karma we are getting, and he is instructing through material nature. So that is why Prabhupada says that when there is a rain, right? Rain is not, when there is a rain, there is different vegetations. So one which is easily consumable by us, and some are like which are like weeds, which are not useful, right? So so we cannot blame that it is because of rain. So rain is not responsible for different vegetations, though. So that is also Prabhupada gives one more analogy. So yeah, so everything actually the source is the Lord. I think maybe we can stop here, can continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Can I request everyone to mark the attendance? Hare Krishna. Okay, any questions you may ask? Okay, anyone has any questions you may ask? No questions? Okay. If there are no questions, then we can close. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। नामाचार्य दास ठाकुर की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। Can chant three times together. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna. See
Thank
you
you,
all tomorrow.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Jai Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.